How can someone hate themselves? Sounds funny, right? I mean, who would willingly dislike their own existence? Here's the fact: self hate isn't loud. It's not something you declare openly. It creeps in quietly, showing up in the way you speak to yourself, the way you treat yourself, and the way you allow others to treat you. It's like having an enemy living inside your mind, whispering lies that you start to believe. Today, I want us to walk through 7 signs that you might be struggling with self hate. Not because I want you to feel worse, but because recognizing these patterns is the first step to breaking free from them. And let me say this up front: if any of these signs resonate with you, you're not broken, you're not beyond repair, you're just human, and humans can heal. What is self hate? Self hate is when you feel like you're not good enough, like something is wrong with you, or you don't deserve love. It's a deep pain that makes you turn against yourself, often without even realizing it. Maybe it started because of hurtful words someone said to you, mistakes you made, or the way life has been unfair. Over time, those feelings pile up, and you start believing lies about yourself. I'll never be enough. I'm a failure. Or I don't deserve happiness. But let me tell you something: none of that is true. You are human, and being human means making mistakes, struggling, and growing. None of those things take away your value. Self hate shows up in many ways. Remember, it doesn't come announced, it creeps into your life slowly. Here are 7 signs that self hate has creeped into your life. 1. Constant, negative self talk. Let's start with the voice inside your head. Do you find yourself saying things like, "I'm so stupid," or "Why do I always mess everything up?" This isn't just self criticism, it's a pattern of self attack. And the worst part? You've probably been doing it for so long that it feels normal. But let me ask you something: would you speak to a friend like that? Would you tell someone you care about that they're useless or hopeless? No, you wouldn't. So, why is it okay to say those things to yourself? It's not. That voice in your head isn't telling the truth, it's just echoing old fears and insecurities. Every time you catch yourself in a negative thought, pause. Challenge it. Ask yourself, is this really true? Replace it with something kinder, like, I made a mistake, but I'm learning. You don't have to believe it right away, but keep trying. Over time, that inner voice can become a friend instead of a critic. 2. Sabotaging your own success. Starting a business, a career path, often comes with risks. It's normal to feel afraid or hesitant. Fear is a protective mechanism, your brain's way of trying to keep you safe from failure or disappointment. But there's a difference between healthy caution and self sabotage rooted in self hate. If you find yourself avoiding opportunities, procrastinating, or giving up before you even try, ask yourself why. Is it because you're thoughtfully weighing the risks and deciding it's not the right time? Or is it because deep down, you believe you're not capable or worthy of succeeding? For example, imagine you're offered a chance to pitch your business idea to an investor. If you decline because you genuinely feel unprepared and want more time to refine your pitch, that's self awareness. But if you say no because you think, they'll never take me seriously, or I'm not good enough to pull this off, that's where self hate creeps in. Self hate convinces you that failure is inevitable, so you don't even try. It whispers things like, why bother? You'll just mess it up anyway. Or, you don't deserve this chance. These thoughts can create a cycle of missed opportunities, reinforcing the belief that you're not capable of success. 3. Avoiding mirrors or photos. Not everyone enjoys taking pictures, and not everyone feels photogenic, and that's perfectly fine. But when avoiding mirrors or photos becomes a pattern tied to how you see yourself, it's often more than just a preference. If every time you see your reflection, you feel an overwhelming sense of disappointment, or you actively avoid mirrors because you can't stand to look at yourself, that's a sign of self-rejection. It's not about disliking how you look in a photo, it's about feeling like you don't measure up to some imaginary standard of worthiness or beauty. For example, someone who struggles with self-hate might think, I look so ugly, I can't believe this is what people see. This thought doesn't come from a place of objectivity. It comes from a harsh inner critic that magnifies every perceived flaw and minimizes every good thing about you. It's less about physical appearance and more about how you perceive your value as a person. How to tell the difference. It's important to distinguish between a simple dislike of photos and a deeper issue. If you avoid photos because you think, I'm just not photogenic, but you still feel okay about yourself overall, that's not self-hate. But if avoiding mirrors or pictures is tied to feelings of shame, unworthiness, or self-disgust, then it could be a sign that you're struggling with your self-image. The mirror isn't your enemy, and your reflection doesn't define your worth. Your value is so much deeper than your physical appearance. 4. Over-apologizing for everything. Apologizing is good when it's appropriate, like when you've hurt someone or made a mistake. But if you find yourself saying sorry excessively, like when someone bumps into you, or when you express your opinion, or for simply existing in someone's space, it might reveal a deeper issue. Over-apologizing is often rooted in the belief that you're inherently flawed or a burden to others. It's as if you're saying, I'm sorry for being me, or I don't have the right to take up space. This behavior reflects a lack of self-worth and an attempt to avoid criticism or rejection. Imagine this. You're in a meeting and you start a sentence with, sorry, but I just wanted to share an idea. This small, seemingly harmless habit undermines your confidence. It reinforces the belief that your ideas, needs, and presence are less important than others. Before apologizing, ask yourself, am I actually at fault here? Does this situation truly require an apology? If not, don't say it. Secondly, replace sorry with thank you. Instead of saying, sorry I'm late, say, thank you for waiting. This shifts the focus to appreciation rather than self-blame. Healthy apologizing is about taking responsibility for your actions, not taking responsibility for everything around you. Over-apologizing, on the other hand, can be a sign that you've lost sight of your own worth. 5. Pushing people away. There's nothing wrong with creating boundaries or removing toxic people from your life. In fact, it's necessary for your mental and emotional health. But pushing everyone away, including those who genuinely care about you, can be a sign of self-hate. Self-hate makes you believe that you're undeserving of love or support. It convinces you that if people get too close, they'll eventually reject you, so you push them away first to avoid potential hurt. This behavior isn't about setting boundaries, it's about building walls because you don't see your worth. Let's take this 2 examples. Sarah has a friend, Lisa, who constantly criticizes her career choices and undermines her confidence. Sarah decides to set a boundary. She tells Lisa, I care about you, but I won't tolerate conversations that make me feel small. When Lisa doesn't change, Sarah distances herself from the friendship. Sarah values herself enough to protect her peace and only maintain relationships that uplift her. This is an act of self-love. On the other hand, consider James. He has a supportive coworker, Mike, who always checks on him and encourages him to aim higher in his career. But James constantly avoids Mike, stops replying to his messages, and starts isolating himself. Deep down, James thinks, Mike only supports me because he doesn't know how messed up I am. If he really knew me, he'd stop caring. I might as well save us both the trouble. James isn't rejecting Mike because of toxic behavior. He's pushing Mike away because he doesn't believe he's worthy of kindness or friendship. His actions come from a place of fear and self-loathing, not boundary setting. 6. Struggling to accept compliments. Self-hate convinces you that you're not good enough, smart enough, or attractive enough to deserve positive acknowledgement. So, when someone compliments you instead of feeling appreciated, your inner critic takes over, saying things like, they don't really mean that. They're just being polite. If they knew the real me, they wouldn't say that. Here's how to differentiate between flattery and real compliments. You are at work, and a colleague you barely know says, wow, you're so talented. You should be the overall superior or the CEO. This is flattery. Smile politely and move on. Here's a real compliment. Your best friend tells you, you're such a great listener. I really appreciate how you always make time for me. Instead of accepting it, you laugh nervously and say, oh no, I'm not that great. I just talk too much. You dismissed a genuine compliment because you don't believe it could be true. Have you seen how self-hate has creeped in? It stops you from recognizing your worth. 7. Constantly comparing yourself to others. Comparison can be a powerful tool for growth when it's done in a healthy way. It's human nature to look around and see where we stand. For example, seeing someone achieve their goals can inspire you to push harder for yourself. But when comparison becomes a habit of putting yourself down, belittling your own achievements, or feeling like you'll never measure up, it crosses into self-hate territory. Let me explain the difference and why this matters. Instead of seeing others as a source of inspiration, you start to view them as evidence of your inadequacy. Their success becomes proof of your failure, their beauty highlights your flaws, and their progress makes you feel stuck. Imagine you admire a friend who just started a successful business. Instead of feeling threatened, you think, wow, if they can do it, I can too. What can I learn from their journey? This kind of comparison motivates you to take action and grow. Now, imagine the same scenario, but instead, you think, it's because he or she is born with a silver spoon, I'll never achieve anything like that. Instead of pushing yourself to grow, this mindset traps you in self-doubt and feelings of inferiority. Comparison is only harmful when it makes you forget your own worth. It's not bad to look at others for inspiration, but when you use their success to tear yourself down, it's a sign that you're not giving yourself enough credit. Remember, you're running your own race. Others can inspire you, but your journey is yours to own. You're enough just as you are, and the only person you truly need to compete with is the person you were yesterday. Self-hate is a battle, but it's not a life sentence. You have the power to change the way you see yourself, one thought, one action, one moment at a time. And you don't have to do it alone. I'm here to remind you that you are worth the effort. The next video would teach you how you can battle self-hate. I'm sure you won't want to miss it.